I'm an amateur football coach with a very chaotic brain, so structure is essential to me to get through my week without curling up into a ball and giving up on life. I like to look through the game footage from the day before, and I like to do it for enjoyment and to get a kind of overall feel for how I think the game has gone. Whether things have gone well or gone really poorly,
sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
You still need to kind of look at what you created that week as a group and appreciate the thing that you've made. Was it good? Was it bad? How do I feel about it? I'm not going to sit there taking notes and try to, take out clips that I think are important at that stage necessarily. Focus on the fun part of it. Playing football is a fun thing, and having the footage is such an amazing thing, and I want that to be always a fun thing for us to engage with. Monday is typically the most intensive day of my week because we train on Monday nights. So what I'll typically do is I will rewatch the game footage with a real focus on things I want to find within the game that perhaps can be used at training or can be used as learning points for our team. If I have the feeling, for example, that, we're getting good crosses into the box, but I'm not seeing players getting on the end of those crosses, and I see that happen multiple times in a game, I might kind of collect those together as a theme. Next comes the training plan, and this is quite simple, and the training plan is something I'd love to go into more detail in the future. But I have a fairly simple structure of a warm-up, an intro activity, a core learning activity, and then a game at the end of my trainings. And those training sessions will always have a theme to them. And I just have to make sure that each part of the training session caters for the numbers that we have. One more thing I'll do before I plan the training session is I'll have a quick look online to see if I can find any information about the team that we're playing in the following week. Look at their form and their latest results, their goals for and against, whether they have players that we expect to be a little bit special or ones that we need to watch out for, what formation they play, and that all helps us kind of get into a mindset of who we're playing that week when we go into the training. And then of course later that night we have the training, and again, training is something that I can go into a lot more detail with you in the future. But for now, that's what's happening on a Monday. Tuesday is my rest day. No football. And completely forget about football for one day in the week. I know that's very difficult to do, but I think every coach needs to find a day in their week where they just switch off from football and focus on other things in your life. I can get very addicted to consuming football to a point where it becomes unhealthy, and I just have to make sure every week there's at least one day where I'm not doing that. I use Wednesday for touching base with the players in my team that I feel I need to. Check in with people to see how they're going, if they're carrying any injuries. Lots of conversation just to get a feeling. It's a hugely beneficial part of building trust between you and your players as well. Fun and enjoyment is at the core of why I'm a football coach, and it's to help people have a better time. And one of the crucial things about that is just checking in on people and making sure that they are all right, to understand where they are in their life and how they're doing. And I think that's just very important. I don't want our communication just to be like, hey, you're not in the team this week, and it's just out of the blue, it's cold. And I really like to have at least one day a week where I put some time aside to reach out to people and speak to them about these things. Thursday is for team selection. Each week, unless there are sicknesses or people unavailable, I'm always having to leave a couple of people out of the team. Before you name the team, you talk to those players and you tell them what's going to happen before the rest of the team knows. So it doesn't feel like a surprise or a slap in the face. Really outline why I wasn't able to put them in the team that week. I don't just put up the team lineup, the subs, and that's it, of course. I have a very clear game plan every week where I outline what our approach is for that game. A little bit of information about the opposition, what we're going to do with the ball, what we do without the ball, how we handle the transitions in a way that I think makes them feel more confident about what they're doing, why they're doing it, and if they have any questions for me, they have time to kind of come to me and ask me those things, and I can clarify information so that when we get there on Saturday, it's very clear in their mind. We usually do a light session on Friday, and numbers on Friday are typically a little bit lower than what they would be on a Monday training. So what that does is it gives me also the opportunity to focus the training a little bit more on the players we have available. In general, that Friday session is lower contact, lower intensity, and more skills based. The other crucial part of a Friday for me is preparing for the game the next day. So that means a lot of the basics. That's like, do we have the balls? Have we got the video camera? Do we have the bibs? Do we have whatever equipment we need? And most important for me as a coach, have I got my game idea so clear to me that when I walk into the changing room the next day, I'm able to explain that to the team in 3 or 4 minutes. I like to take some notes about what I'm gonna say in the changing room before the game. And my main goal here is that when I go to bed, all of these things that could be organized are done, so that I can focus 100% on the game day the next day. If I don't take care of my Friday, that can often turn my Saturday into a very frustrating and stressful experience. It's a no-brainer for me on a Friday to organize these things and make sure that I get a peaceful night's sleep and I feel really good about what we're doing the next day for the game. It's Saturday, it's game day. 3 parts to the game day: pre-game, the game, and the post-game. Things will happen on game day that you don't expect. And the number one thing, of course, is people canceling. I think we've built a culture of trust. That means someone canceling a game, it's only going to happen if they're sick or if there's an emergency. Every team should have a chat about this type of thing and make sure that there isn't this culture in your team of people just being like,
"Oh man, I stayed out last night and I'm not up for the game today."
because it's like, dude, do you really want to be here? I'm a coach that feels very activated by the moment, and so quite often I get a little bit of a spark of inspiration about something that I want to talk about or a story that I want to talk about in the changing room. You have that crunch pressure, sometimes the best ideas come out. That's also one of, I think, the pleasures of being a coach, is to have the freedom to trust your gut and go with something different on a moment like that. It's great to have structure, but if you can't be flexible and open to new ideas, even at the last minute, I think that kills a little bit of the fun of having that role. And then it's just a preparation for the game. So there's a period of the guys getting changed in the rooms. Usually I try to leave them alone, do what they want to do. I'll come in and I'll try and speak for no more than 5 minutes. And really, I'm just trying to point out what I expect from us that day. And because there's been so much good communication going on during the week, I don't have to say that much. Get people focused on what they need to do rather than how they need to feel. I just think that that works better. And by focusing on the task, I think that's a much easier way for people to feel comfortable, because you have so many different personalities in the room that in the end, some people need to be chill, some people need to be excited, and they all need to find their own way to do that together. Just before the game, there'll always be a warm-up. We usually do it for about half an hour. Any longer than that, and I think it loses its effect. Once the game's done, win, lose, or draw, we love to hang out together. Hopefully you did your best, whether you won or lost, but you never know how the game will go. But I think it's great that our team has a culture where we always meet up. And we have a bar that's like 100 meters from our pitch that actually sponsor us. Shout out to Home Bar, where we often meet for beers. And yeah, it's just a great experience, especially if the team has put in a wonderful performance, and yeah, people can stay there for hours enjoying themselves. I just think it's such an important part for team bonding to spend that time together and really enjoy it. There's so many threads in here about training, about games, about social media, about filming games, and I will be further elaborating on all these topics in more detail in the future. So if you'd like to hear more detailed info, then please subscribe and stay tuned, because those videos are coming. They're just around the corner.
"Oh man, I stayed out last night and I'm not up for the game today."